everything in between. My name is Matt Laka, and tonight I will be your mixology cocktail teacher. We're going to make 4 fantastic cocktails. They're all holiday themed, and I'm going to walk you through the paces. While I do this little introduction, though, if you are following along with us, we are going to be doing some hot cocktails. So I would have already a kettle on with some boiling water. It would be the smartest move just to have it on and ready to go. So we're not waiting for things to boil. That being said, I will put mine on now. So by the time I'm done talking, it'll be nice and boiled. But yes, like Vicky was saying, I am here in front of the camera, but as always, behind the camera, I've got the fantastic, the highly punctual, the extremely, extremely good-looking Rosie Callahan, who is with us tonight, doing all of the support in terms of everything technical. We do have 2 cameras. If you are in gallery view still, you'll be able to see me, and you'll be able to see my hands in the cocktail cam, just like any good cooking show or, you know, baking show has a camera for the hands in case I do anything super, super particular, but I don't think we're going to get to that tonight. For those of you who are new, usually we keep things on mute in terms of everyone's microphones, but it's a small group. It's not the end of the world if we have our microphones on. So if you have a question as we go tonight, there are 2 ways of going about it. Either speak up, talk, interrupt me. It doesn't matter. I'm used to it. Go ahead and let me know what your thoughts are if you have any questions. Or if you go to the bottom of your Zoom chat, or rather the Zoom screen, there will be a bar at the bottom, and one of those things on the bar will say chat. If you click on the chat button, it will open up a white column on the right-hand side of your screen, which is a message board. So you can write anything you want in the message board. If you want to say something to me, but you don't want to speak up, if you're muted, what have you, you can always type it in. And if you type it in there, I will catch it. Rosie will stop me, tell me, hey, what's up, Matt? There's a question there, or I'll pick it up myself. As well, I will always post the ingredients to our cocktails in the chat. Obviously, we're going to talk through them, but in case you miss something I say, something goes wrong digitally, your sound cuts out, you will always have the ingredients right there on the screen. So yeah, to make sure that we know how the chat function works, I like to ask a question at the top of the class and see, you know, what your response would be down in the chat. And my question this year is, what holiday tradition is your favorite? What is the favorite holiday tradition that you always look forward to? It could be everything from just having that homemade cranberry sauce to just meeting with the family. My favorite tradition is now being an adult, I get to sit at the adult table. I was stuck at the kids' table for a very long time, probably longer than I should have been. And eventually I finally was I guess like almost like a ritual. I matured far enough in my parents' eyes to be accepted at the big boys' table. So that is mine. Drinking. That is, I mean, that might be an everyday thing, but you know what? During the holidays, it's extremely special. But you know, chime in as you will, as you want, as we go tonight. You know, it's a no holds bar thing. It's supposed to feel like a, you know, like a bar that like everybody's talking, everyone's having a good time. So feel free, if you got your mics muted, feel free to throw on some music in the background if you want, something cheerful, something holiday themed, because we're gonna be drinking. And I think I've talked long enough, and we just squeaking in here on time is Deb. Nice to see you, Deb. So happy to have you back.
Yay.
We figured it out. So just I was saying before, Deb, you should have maybe a kettle on already, just because honestly, we're doing some hot cocktails tonight to warm us up this winter. So you might want to have some boiling water on the ready. If not, just a mug full of water that you can pop in the microwave. That will also work. So I'm gonna grab
I have a kettle going.
Amazing. I'm going to grab our first cocktail of the evening. And I guess we'll start with a cold one because I've got to get that water going. So I'm going to grab it. Where did I put it? I put it over here. I'm going to just grab this real quick. And this one's going to be a fun one. It's definitely different. And we're going to start with our bourbon or our whiskey cocktails tonight. Those are, bourbon and whiskey are a fantastic, fantastic spirit in terms of a holiday spirit. When I say holiday spirit, I mean liquors that make us think of the holidays, that warm us on the inside. So that's going to be rum, bourbon, Gin has a fun time in the summer and makes its appearances in the winter, and whereas vodka and tequila are more summertime things. So let's start us off with a nice bourbon drink. For this, I am going to be grabbing myself a martini-style glass. You can pick any kind of glassware you want. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it's going in your mouth. But I think a martini glass does fit this particular cocktail quite well. This cocktail is known as the Liquid Bourbon Ball. Now, there are many ball cocktails. There's the melon ball, which is probably the most famous of the ball-style cocktails. But this Liquid Bourbon Ball comes to us from 2006, straight out of the distillery Woodford Reserve. Now, they're known for their Kentucky bourbon, is kind of their big player. But they do ever so often come out with recipes that they push for different occasions, holidays. And this one is one of my favorites because it combines not only Woodford Reserve, which I don't have tonight. It was a little bit on the pricey side. It wasn't on sale. I didn't pick it up. Sue me. But you can use whatever whiskey or bourbon you have handy. And then the two other ingredients we need are Frangelico. Now, if you've never had Frangelico before, welcome to the next stages of your life. Frangelico is a gorgeous, gorgeous hazelnut liqueur. It reminds me of Toblerones. It reminds me of Yves Rocher's. Honestly, it's a gorgeous dessert-style liqueur that you can throw into your coffee, wink, wink, and it'll make anything you put into it have that little touch of hazelnut, which is really nice. And then, of course, we're coming up behind it with our creme de cacao, our fantastic, just a regular good old chocolate liqueur, kind of a spirit that we can help mix this into. But for this cocktail, we don't need a shaker, but we do need a mixing glass because all the ingredients, as you can see in the chat, are all alcohol-based. So you're going to want to grab yourself a mixing glass. Now, a mixing glass can be anything. It can be a mug. It doesn't matter. It's not a big deal. And we're going to be putting our alcohols in here first before straining it into our drink glass. Go ahead and chill down your drink glass. If you're a proper bartender, rule of thumb, you want to chill your glassware. So there are three options for that. You can either throw some ice in it, throw some cold water, or chuck her in the fridge. Don't waste that ice. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some cold water in it. And I'm going to set that aside. Fantastic. And in your drinking glass, that is where you're going to want to put a little bit of ice here. So I've got some ice in my mixing glass. And what's everyone using tonight in terms of their favorite bourbon? I see a Maker's Mark over there by Deb, which is going to give you a gorgeous sweetness. Ooh, we got the Bullet over there. Great choices. I mean, again, like I said, it was on sale. It's Canadian. There's nothing wrong with Canadian Club. Don't get me wrong. It's not the priciest thing on the planet. Ooh, Wild Turkey. I love me some good Wild Turkey. Alrighty here, folks. So first things first, we're gonna grab our whatever you're measuring with tonight. I don't know what you folks are using. If you look down the cocktail cam, I am using right here a jigger, which is a two-pronged instrument, which has a 1 ounce and a 2 ounce side. But some people might be measuring with like a shot glass at home. Standard shot glasses in the US and Canada are 2 ounce shot glasses. So if I say that we need 2 ounces of something, it is one entire shot glass. If I say we need 1 ounce, it's half a shot glass. And the math kind of takes over from there, and you're all smart people, and you'll be able to figure it out. But let's get to some drinking here, folks. So we're going to start this off with 2 ounces of whatever your favorite bourbon or whiskey might be. And that's going to go right into your mixing glass with ice. So we want to get that chilling to happen immediately. All righty. After that, we're going to be coming behind it with our friend Frangelico, which is we're only going to do about a 1/4 ounce. We don't need a ton of this. I'm telling you right now, if you haven't tasted it, if it's your first time using Frangelico, like any good chef, like any good bartender, like any good pastry maker, taste your ingredients, understand what is going on in your glassware. So if you're using Frangelico for the first time, or I can see maybe someone possibly using Kahlua over there, totally fine. That's totally a great replacement. That can totally work. It's going to give you a little more of a coffee flavor, but it's still going to live there. So it's all right to take it right out of the bottle. It's good to know what you're putting in. Again, Frangelico is going to have a sugary hazelnut to it. Your Kahlua is going to have a sugary coffee flavor. This is going to work just as well. So we're going to do a 1/4 ounce. So really not a lot. It's not a ton here. That's going right into our mixing glass. And then finally, we're coming behind it with 1 ounce of creme de cacao. So creme de cacao, just like any other mixer style spirit, is honestly, it's made for cocktailing. Like you wouldn't have this over ice, just like you wouldn't have blue curacao over ice. It is literally made to be mixed. So it is very thin, it is translucent, and it is made for these style cocktails. So once you've got that all nice and in your glasses, go ahead and mix it for roughly 30 seconds. You want to get, is anyone have any questions? You can type them there here. That is right. Alrighty. So I can see people are still measuring things out. Feel free to give it a little stir with your ice, with whether it be a spoon, whether it be, gosh, it could be so many things you can stir with your fingers. I mean, I do what you want. But as long as you get some ice in there and you're stirring, what we're doing here, because again, it's all alcohol. If we were to not stir this, it would be like a punch to the jaw. It would be straight alcohol taste. It would burn. It would hurt. What we're doing here is we're allowing the ice to melt slightly, to add just a touch of water to help lengthen the tastes. And it's so important. Ice is such a vital part of cocktailing that people, I think, disrespect. So, you know, this is to help you out. Trust me. Once you feel you've stirred for about 30 seconds, you can get rid of whatever water or ice mixture you have rocking in your glassware. And you can simply strain the ice out. So we don't want any ice in our cocktail. This is a martini style cocktail, if you will. And we're just going to go ahead and pour this gorgeous, gorgeous, almost gold-like color into the glass. Now I'm going to show you here what this looks like in the cocktail can, if you're interested. It is a gorgeous, gorgeous shade of gold. Honestly, this, I mean, when you say liquid bourbon ball, I really do think of like a buttery, a gold. It definitely rings true. And when you're using bourbon and whiskey, this is a color, something I want to see. Oh, I can see. There we go. Yeah, Deb's is coming out great. I'm sure Mark's is looking great too. I don't see it yet, but there. Whoa, that looks great. And we got Janine coming through behind. All right. And then for garnish, it's up to you. There are a couple of options. You could, these are the things I would do. I would either spritz over a bit of orange on the top, maybe an orange peel. You could grate some chocolate, which I seem to possibly have eaten today. I swear I bought some, and it just wasn't here anymore. So I'm pretty sure I ate it throughout the day. Or you could go naked with this cocktail. This cocktail is one of those kind of, ooh, I can see someone with a grater. Yes, Deborah, grating the chocolate shavings right on there. I love it. Yeah, you want to just cover the top with a little bit of chocolate. That'll go a long way. I would even go with maybe a dash of nutmeg if you don't have the chocolate. That could also, ooh, everyone's got graters and chocolate. I'm so proud of all of you. I'm proud that you all have chocolate that you didn't devour. Good for you. And once you feel like you've got a nice covering of chocolate, if you can go as intense or as light as you want. But again, this is more for a texture and we're going to be enhancing that creme de cacao, that chocolate taste in our glassware. And once you think you're ready, I'm going to go naked because, again, I was a bad boy and ate my chocolate. I say cheers to all of you. Happy holidays. And let's see what this one tastes like. Oh, that's got layers, people. That has layers of taste. Immediately, you're hit with that bourbon. Then you're going to get a kick of whether you use Kahlua or Frangelico. You're going to get the hazelnut or the coffee mix. And then it all comes around about with a little bit of chocolate from our creme de cacao, maybe a little more, because you probably have some chocolate shavings floating around in there. Feel free to turn on your microphones and let me know what you think. We're not a huge group tonight, so I don't have to leave it to the chat. Tell me your thoughts. This is a dessert cocktail, great for after dinner.
Very nice, very nice.
Yep, it's strong and it's nice.
Yeah.
Drink slowly.
It is this is definitely a fireplace cocktail. I have certain classifications of like, if my 15-member family was in the house and it was a crazy Christmas dinner and I shooed them all away at the end of the night and I needed to relax near the fireplace with a book, this is probably my dessert cocktail of choice. It's the reason why I wanted to highlight it, because honestly, people don't necessarily, they use a lot of these flavors, creme de cacao and Frangelico and Kahlua, with like cream, milk. And I'm not a big milk cream based kind of person when it comes to cocktails. And I think this is a great replacement for those style of cocktails. Nothing wrong with them by any means, just not my fave. All right.
I have an off-topic question. I'm making hot mulled cider alcohol-free and with alcohol. for my family. What kind of alcohol goes in hot mulled cider?
A hot mild cider, I mean, it depends. You can go with an alcoholic cider if you want, and that would kind of take away the alcohol. Like if you got yourself like a hard cider, that would work quite well. If you want to make it simply alcoholic, vodka is the way to go. Vodka doesn't add any extra taste. It would only make it alcoholic because vodka has no taste in itself. But if it was me, I would be going with rum. I think rum and apples make, I'm assuming apples are involved. That, you know, everyone's mulled stuff is different depending on the person. But yeah, I think rum would be my first choice. Then it would be a hard cider if you weren't already going the hard cider route. And then eventually, if I had nothing else to do, it would be vodka. So yeah, a great question. And always hit me with those off-topic questions. I love answering them. That's why I'm here.
So dark rum or white rum, clear rum?
I would go dark rum, only because, well, two things. One, the coloring of dark rum will add to your mulled experience, but also molasses being present in dark rum, I think would mix extremely well with what you're doing. But then again, if you could even, I don't know if I would stay away from the spiced. You could do spiced if you really wanted to. I just think it might get lost amongst other flavors that are going in. So if you have a dark rum, go with that, and then go to white. But yeah, that's my suggestion.
Thanks.
I'm always surprised with like how much knowledge is in here. Like it's funny. You start drinking so much that you're like, oh, I know what I'm talking about. This is cool. All right, folks, I'm gonna grab our next cocktail here. And you know what? Let's jump. We're in bourbon land. All right, so let's jump to a hot cocktail. Why not? Let's warm up. We were talking about the fireplace, and this one honestly is a classic that I think everyone has heard of. Maybe not everyone has tried. It's not the big it's not the big one of the night in terms of my mind of being like the grand finale, but it's definitely a classic that I have drank too many times. This is known as the hot toddy. Now, the hot toddy, I'm sure everyone knows, is a kind of nowadays it's seen as a quick fix for a cold. That started
All right.
so long ago. For this, folks, you will need your kettle on or some hot water, so just a warning. But no, the hot toddy comes to us from 1710, British-controlled India. So in India, this is where this drink began its life. It was known as simply the taddy, T-A-D-D-Y. But as the British like to do when they invade people, is they take over their stuff. That's what invading is, and they took on the toddy as their own property. They say they invented it. But it's most likely an Indian creation. I mean, obviously we have no documentation. The first documentation of the hot toddy is in our friend Jerry Thomas's Bartender's Guide, which, you know, he said he invented, which is not true. That's just Jerry Thomas and the way he does things. Being the first person to think about writing down recipes in a book, you get credit for them. Most likely the way the toddy came from India to North America is when we had nurses and doctors go over there for whatever reason, whether it be war, whether it be for not business trip, but medical trips, things like that, and heard about it and its medicinal uses, then brought it over to the US to start prescribing to people in the 19th century to get rid of their colds. I'll say this, as a singer and performer, whenever I start feeling a little fluish, a little cold, a little phlegm, the hot toddy is my go-to. Maybe it's because I like to drink, but I like to think it works every time. So let's get this one going. It's a really simple drink, and you can modify it in so many ways. But this is my favorite recipe, which I have thrown down in the chat. So what you want to start with is your bourbon, whiskey, or rye. And please, please use yourself a insulated glass, a mug, something that can retain heat. You definitely don't want to do something that is a glass that's going to burn you when you hold it, nothing metal. You're all smart people. You're all adults. You're not going to burn yourself. I know that. But, you got to say these things when you're in a position of teaching. So 2 ounces of our bourbon or our whiskey, totally your call. It's up to you. We're going to pop that right in. Now, if you have a mug that looks like this, I'll show it in the cocktail can. These are actually known as hot toddy mugs. This is the traditional look of them. I'll be honest with you. I think it was a great marketing thing. I don't know who came up with it. Obviously, this is not what they were served in back in the day. My understanding is this glassware, the framework of it comes from Germany, and it was known as the classic beer mug. And that's what they were probably putting them into. And eventually someone said, that's a hot toddy mug. What are you talking about? And then that's what it became. All right, folks. After that, we are going to put in straight into our glass about ½ an ounce of honey. Now, if you like a sweeter drink, go ahead and put a little bit more. It's totally up to you. But the reason why we don't have to make this into a honey syrup, which we're going to have to do later, is because even though this would normally stick to the bottom of your glass, because we're going to add hot water, it will dissolve and mix extremely well. Like I said, honey is one of those things where if you put it in a cold shaker, it'll stick to the walls, and honestly, it won't mix very well. But now that we're using hot water in this next step, don't worry about it. So use as much honey as you think you like. If you like something a little sweeter, go a little heavier. But who doesn't love honey? Honey and maple syrup for me are like on par, and like that's kind of faux pas as a Canadian. I shouldn't be saying that. Next up, we're going to be doing a little bit of lemon juice. Now, this again comes to, again, the medical kind of reasoning for not only having lemon juice is a great balancer, but, you know, think about it, vitamin C, scurvy, diseases, you want some citrus in your medicinal cocktail, the hot toddy. But we're doing a ½ ounce, just like that. All righty.
½ ounce.
½ ounce, so just a touch. We just need a little bit of lemon just to perk this cocktail up. All righty. And then once you are done with those ingredients, you need nothing else but some hot water. It's totally up to you if you want to use your jigger or just pour it. I'm going to go ahead and just eyeball about 4 ounces. I'm basically filling up my glassware here with hot water, but leaving some room at the top because you don't want to burn yourself. You want like not hot boiling water. You want like tea style water. That's what you want here. And once you got that in there, you can go ahead and stir this cocktail to get that honey blended in. Because if we don't stir it, the honey is literally just going to sit at the bottom of your glass, and it's going to be a real sweet time when you get to the end of it. All righty. And once you feel like you got no resistance at the bottom of the glass, like the honey has been moved around and has been kind of integrated into the cocktail, that's delicious. I'm sorry, I couldn't like resist tasting it already. Totally your call in terms of garnishes. There's one that I really enjoy that's a little over the top, but I'm going to show it to you. You can throw in a piece of star anise. That can be just the end of it. But lemon is usually served with this cocktail. So I'm just going to grab myself a lemon real quick. A nice lemon. Do I have any nice lemons left? I do. I've got one nice lemon left. Sorry, I go through a lot of fruit, and sometimes they all don't make it. Let's go with a knife that is nice. Hey, this is a nice knife. So I'm going to do something a little ridiculous. You can follow it here in the cocktail can, but I'm going to cut myself a single wheel. So that's just cutting straight down the center. I'm going to get myself a nice thick piece. So nothing too thin, because we want to do something with the rind here, which is, again, a little ridiculous. So I'm going to grab myself, I have them here in my spice rack. I've got some cloves. Now, not everyone is into cloves. I get that. But it being Christmas time, it being a holiday drink, let's have some fun. So I'm going to get myself about 5 cloves. I've got more like 10. Let's put some back. I want like 5. There we go. And what I'm simply going to do is first I'm going to cut myself right down the center of my lemon, not all the way through. Right there, I'll show it to you in the cocktail can. Not all the way through, because I want to put this on the side of my cocktail glass. And I am going to stick the cloves into the rind. Now, you might have to use your knife to poke a little hole for your cloves.
Could you poke them into the actual
You could poke it into the pulp. Absolutely.
Yeah.
For look, I like the way it looks when you ooh, maybe I didn't push these on. I might have to go with what you said, because honestly, hey, there we go. So they'll end up looking like this, which is really fun. But you might need to finesse them a little bit into the rind of your lemon. But it makes a gorgeous, gorgeous looking garnish at the end of the day. It can be a little finicky. You might need to use your knife to make little holes for your cloves. But again, this is more of an extracurricular. It's a bit of an extra here.
Yeah, watch me so you can call 911 in case.
I mean, I'll say this. You can use a different style knife, Deb. I'm not, I'm sure we've got all types. But then again, if you can go, you don't have to go this route. You can definitely go a simpler route. But then at the end of the day, you get something I'll show right here in the cocktail can. You get these gorgeous little cloves that hang on the rind, which is really cute. And also gives you the scent of clove when you go to drink this cocktail. Because right away, cloves will go in your nose, and then you're going to taste clove in your mouth when you're sipping, even though there's no clove actually in this cocktail. And when we've got our cocktails ready, we'll raise them up, say cheers, happy holidays, and hope nobody gets sick. That's what this is for.
Can you put cloves in it, Matt?
You absolutely can. It depends on your level of affinity to cloves.
Yeah.
Some people hate them, some people love them. So this is a great option. If you're serving it to somebody else, by putting it in the rind, they could take them out and throw them in. It's totally up to them. Okay. This way you give them the option. What do we think, folks? What do we think of this lemony, honey, whiskey concoction?
I think I want to get a cold.
It's
Yeah.
now it's my favorite.
Oh, good. I'm glad. No, it's honestly, hot cocktails get not a bad rap. They just don't have a real place in the world sometimes because everyone's, if you go to a bar, you want something cold, you want something chilled, you want something chicken on ice. Very, very rarely do I work as a bartender and have people asking me for warm cocktails. Mm-hmm. But it comes, especially during the winter time. Because I'll say this, if I was out in the cold in the snowstorm you all had yesterday and I walked into a bar, I'm asking for a hot cocktail. There's no way around it.
Yeah. So you'll understand this, Matt. When I lived in Ottawa on the canal, when they do all the ice skating,
yeah,
there's a Hurley's, which is like a Bennigan's or a Friday's.
Yeah.
Pretty much everybody is having hot toddies or hot buttered rum because it's minus 25 out and you're out ice.
I mean, it's funny that you say Hurley's because both Rosie and I's ears perked up because we're from Montreal originally, and there's a Hurley's there that is staple. It's on Crescent, I want to say.
On Crescent, yeah. My dad played there for 15 years.
Yeah, so you say Hurley's, and it's like this whole world of nostalgia is hitting me in the face.
When I lived in Ottawa, there were like 5 of them.
Oh yeah. It's weird to figure out to see what brands explode in certain areas of the world, and Hurley's hit this weird market of being the pub where you go to have drinks with your friends, but also it can be I don't know about your experiences with it, but I've been to Hurley's on a slow night where it is one of the most calm places where you can have a beer, have a chat, and not feel like music is blaring in your ears. Alrighty. Well, that is 2 drinks down. We're half an hour in. Look at that. On time.
Excellent.
I'm finally getting better at this on time thing. It's been a couple months now that we've been doing some shows. It's about time that I figure out how to be on time. So let's move on here. I'll save the big finale, our last hot cocktail for the end. So we'll switch it up and do another kind of cooler one. But you will need that hot water handy because we do have to make ourselves a crude honey syrup. Because again, we're going to use honey, but we're going to use it in a different way. So I'm going to quickly throw it in the chat. For this, you can use any piece of glassware you like. I'm going to rock just an old-fashioned glass, a rocks glass. You could do this in a flute-style glass if you'd like, because we are going to be bringing out the bubbly. Now, look, you got to have a bubbly drink in the holiday season. I'm not going to see your faces again until the new year. So I wanted to prep you for that New Year's Eve party or bash that you'll either throw with friends, without, online, in person, however you're going to be celebrating. So to have a small bottle of bubbly at the ready is a nice little thing. So that being said, we do need to make a simple honey syrup. So for that, you want to grab yourself a mug and put in about 2 tablespoons worth of honey. I mean, Mark's already on it. You got it there, bud. But you want to do about 2 tablespoons worth of honey in your glass. and then throw about 2 tablespoons worth of hot water into your glass. Now, this isn't your drinking glass. This is just another glass that we're mixing with. So whatever that glass might be, like I said, something like a mug so you don't hurt yourself. And once you get about an equal amount of honey and hot water, you can go ahead and just stir that up. So it's basically what we... Oh.
I think someone asked how much honey.
How much honey? I did about 2 tablespoons worth.
Okay.
It's totally up to you, though. 2 tablespoons is going to be just about enough for our cocktail purposes. You might have a little extra so that you can make this one again. It's totally, you know, I want to make sure that you're ready to have at least 1 or 2 cocktails tonight. And I'll say this, if you have some leftover honey syrup after tonight, throw it in the fridge, throw it in your morning tea or your morning coffee. You'll thank me later. Trust me, it's a great, great thing to have on hand. And it just tastes 1,000 times better than white or brown sugar. Honey maple syrup, like, shoot me now. I'll go to heaven. I'm good. All right, here, folks. So once we have our kind of honey and water mixture all kind of stirred up, once that's done, you can set it aside. Take a second. No rush. And while you do that, we are going to need our shaker tins for this next cocktail. So once you got the honey ready to go, you can take out your cocktail shaker and throw a little bit of ice in there. And at the same time, you can also chill your glassware as per usual, as per always with a good bartender chilling their glass. But I'm going to get a little more ice because
What's the glass we're using?
I mean, it's up to you. You can use, I'm using a rocks glass, so an old-fashioned style glass. But you can use a flute glass, a champagne glass. Those would be my 2 go-tos. But honestly, use what you got at home. Try and think New Year's Eve. Think fancy. Like, that's where I would go. Thinking in the fancy world. I'm just going to get myself a little bit of this ice. Throw it into my cocktail tin. Hey, there we go. All righty. We are well on our way here, folks, into our 3rd cocktail. So now that we've got that honey syrup made, I won't make you wait too long to use it. Ooh. You can go ahead and pour in about ½ an ounce. Now I'm going to pour in a little more. I like this cocktail to be a little more sweet than I normally would. By the way, the cocktail we're making, so I haven't even named it yet because I was so into the honey syrup. This cocktail is known as the Holiday Rum Sparkler. Now, the Holiday is honestly filled with so many delicious flavors. Cranberries, pomegranates, apples, tangerine, like name it, it's there. I chose apple because apple falls into this wonderful place of like apple pie, but also cran apples. Like, I think apple is a fall to winter favorite. You can switch out the apple juice though in this recipe for your favorite fall juice, rather your favorite winter juice. So whatever flavor that might be, cranberry, pomegranate, blood orange, totally up to you. And the cocktail still stands. But I'm doing apple. So we got our honey syrup in our tin. The next thing we want to go with is our rum. You can do any kind of rum. I'm actually, I'm gonna do myself a spiced Jamaican rum, which is Appleton Estate. But you can use any rum you like for this. What do we got for rum tonight? We were talking whiskey before, but I got my Appleton Estate.
All right, Mark.
Look at the matching bottles. Look at you two.
Aren't we cute?
What do we got over there, Janine? What do we got for rum? Oh, okay.
All right.
Fantastic. Just so you know, Janine, you are muted. I just want you to know that because I'm sure you're trying to tell us something important. Because I'm curious. Oh.
I'm trying to unmute Janine.
No, there we go. Go for it, Janine. You're good.
Hi.
It's called YOLO, and it's a Denver rum.
Ooh, local.
Yeah,
I love us
local.
using a local rum. All right, well, 2 ounces of your favorite rum or whatever rum you are using into our cocktail shaker with our honey syrup. So right now we've got honey and we've got rum. Already, that's a winner. You don't need anything else, but we're going to give you more. Honestly, honey and rum are a winning combination. Next up, we're going to be doing apple juice. So we're going to do 1 ounce of apple juice. I wouldn't do any more than that because we don't want to kill our honey and rum mixture in terms of taste. But if you don't got apple juice at home and you want to use a different juice, by all means, I would stay away. I mean, you could use orange juice, but I feel orange juice is so like sparkling wine and orange juice are mimosas. It's kind of not lame, don't get me wrong. I love me a good mimosa at 11. Between 11 and 1, I like a good mimosa, but we're trying to give you something a little special. So, you know, you can up the game a bit. And once we've got our honey syrup, our apple juice, and our rum, you can go ahead and close that cocktail. We're not putting the sparkling wine in. Don't put your Prosecco or sparkling wine in here. It's bad news bears. Don't do that. And once you got that, you can go ahead and give it a little shake. Make sure that top is nice and tight. You don't want to make too much of a mess. Make a little mess, it's okay. And you give it a good shake. There you go. I'm loving the shaking, folks. Looking good. All righty. And once you feel like it's nice and cold on the outside, it means it's cold on the inside. And you can take your top off. Make sure to get some fresh ice going in your glassware. So whatever you're drinking out of tonight, you can do it with or without ice. I prefer this with ice just because it just makes sure that this stays cold. Honestly, there's not too many ingredients, so I want to make sure that it's nice and to temp. And you can go ahead and strain that right into your cocktail glass. Just like that. And once you've got it nice and strained out, it's a real simple last step is just pouring on some sparkling wine. Now, it's totally up to you. I don't know what everyone's using in terms of their sparkling wine or their Prosecco. But if it's a screw top, great. If it's a cork, let me know. I'll walk you through it to make sure that you don't pop yourself or anyone in your vicinity. But if it's a screw top, awesome. Just unscrew that slowly. Make sure it doesn't bubble too much. Oh, man, Janine's already into it. She's already like, let me get at it. I'm ready to go. Janine, I love you. And I'm just going to go ahead and slowly pour on my sparkling wine. Or my Prosecco. Be slow, it bubbles quick. So a little bit at a time here. So a little bit goes a long way. There we go. And then, and then once you're done with that, I'm going to show you a really fun garnish. Now, I know we've been talking garnishes. Garnishes are kind of important in cocktail. I'm not going to say kind of. They're very important. They do two big things. They either make the cocktail look beautiful, or they help it look beautiful, or they give us information to our noses, which helps with the taste. But this one is more of the aesthetic type. So you can skip it if you want to. So what I'm going to do here is I am cutting extremely thin slices of an apple. So they look like this. Right there in the cocktail cam, they're just circles that I am then cutting in half. So then I get two parts that look like this, that look like this down in the cocktail cam. Real simple. So I'll do 2. You could do 3, you could do 4, but as long as they're thin and you don't slip up like this guy just did. There we go. Hey, that's better. And I'll cut that right down the middle again. So what we're going to do here is with our slices, I am just simply going to stack them up. So they look like this. They just look like, I'll show right there in the cocktail stand. I'm just going to stack them up nice and even. And what we're going to do here is I'm going to grab a cocktail pick or a toothpick, and I am just going to skewer the bottom half together so that they all hang like this right there in the cocktail can, just like that. And what you can do with that is you can spread them out evenly to create a little apple fan. Then the apple fan sits on your cocktail glass and looks absolutely beautiful. Mine would stay. Whoop, there we go. Again, garnishing is one of those things that comes with finesse, comes with time, and eventually you'll get it and it'll look beautiful. And there you have it. You'll have a beautiful little apple fan to go along with your cocktail, which you can then close up and throw into your glass as the garnish. Hey, there you go. Got a little umbrella. There we go. But folks, this is the Holiday Rum Sparkler. Cheers to all of you. That's so like, this makes me think of a office cocktail party. If I was going out and someone handed me a drink off of a tray, this is what I would expect it to be. Rosie, you gotta taste that.
Yes,
of course, it's gonna depend on whatever your sparkling wine or Prosecco is. That's gonna be the dominant taste right out of the gates, right?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And the apple, the rum, they're warm flavors, right? They give you that warmth in your tum tum.
Yeah, and then the honey comes through as a great sweetener. What are our thoughts here? It might not be our favorite of the night. Might be our favorite of the night. Let me know. Deb, thoughts? I'm curious. I can see you working it. I can see the wheels turning.
It's really interesting. I need to pause.
Oh, no, I'm good. That's important. Don't.
I also feel like apple isn't a usual flavor in cocktails. So I feel like that's extra why this is like a special one.
No, that's totally fair. And like I said, apple is a choice for sure. You could also go with, again, cranberry, other flavors for exactly the same cocktail. But you're right. Apple doesn't appear all that much. It comes around there's Apple Jack, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
There are apple martinis.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, apple is definitely a seldom choice. So it's always fun to highlight when you can.
For sure.
All right, folks, it is 8:46. We've got time for one more cocktail, and this is the pièce de résistance, my favorite holiday cocktail. One that I assumed all Americans must have known, must have enjoyed, and then I was rudely told that most Americans have never tried it, which blows my frickin' mind. But this cocktail, which you're gonna need your hot water for and a hot resistant mug, this is known as the hot buttered rum. Now, who here, show of hands, has had a hot buttered rum before?
Well, with you.
Oh, well, fantastic. With us, have we done the hot buttered rum before?
Yeah, last time, real simple.
Oh, we
Right.
did. Okay, fantastic.
Yeah,
You know what? I didn't realize that. I thought for sure we had done this with another group of people. I don't want to jimp you and make you the same cocktail twice, folks.
No, that had 3 ingredients. This is quite different. Am I
Oh.
right? Am I right?
Oh, sorry. The thing that I posted in the chat there is not the right. Let me just grab the hot buttered rum here. I swear that that's interesting. But let me just grab this here.
So I don't think, unless it was one I didn't go to, I don't think we did a hot buttered rum with this group.
Okay, that's what I was doing.
May have been something similar.
It's
It had a lot of butter in it.
It did have butter, though. Now I'm remembering, Deb. Yeah.
Okay. I mean,
It must
that's
have been
just.
hot buttered rum.
Well, okay, that's not an issue, folks. Here, I've got a replacement cocktail. With what we have here, I can make something on the fly that's just as good, and that's just
No.
as I will say this.
This one looks so much better.
I mean, let me throw in the actual. This is what right there in the chat. This is what we have here for the hot buttered rum. But if we've done it before, because then again, it happens. Cocktailing, it messes with the mind. There's lots of drinking going on. But I'll say this. I will do this. We will make 2 cocktails right now because I am a man of my word. I'm here to deliver 4 new cocktails, but I know we've got some new people that may not have tried the hot buttered rum. So you know what? With what we have here, the only additional thing I would wonder if you had was an egg white. If you have a single egg in the fridge, we can go with this cocktail in my head. Mark and Deborah, do you have an egg in your fridge?
I'm going to go with the hot buttered rum.
Yeah.
Oh,
Because,
well, you know what?
right, Vicki, it had just butter and rum and one other ingredient.
Okay,
It
so
was just-
yeah, go ahead. And then Anne and Deneen haven't done it, and Mark and Deb are okay with doing it.
All right. I mean, I'll say this.
Both.
My sincerest apologies to the drinking and the notion that I haven't taught you this. But if we're going to revisit it, I'm happy to, because like I said, it is my favorite. By all means, it is my favorite.
Very good.
So maybe that's why I wanted to teach it again. But by all means, if we decide that we want a different cocktail, folks, we can definitely do another cocktail because look, one on the house, don't worry about it. So the hot buttered rum, a real quick history for those who don't know, comes to us from the pre-colonial days where rum was everywhere. Rum was used in most transactions. It was made in New England mostly and was terrible. The New England rum was garbage and they liked their Jamaican rum, which is what we'll be using tonight for this cocktail. So it is said that Americans on average in the pre-colonial days drank 5 gallons of rum per person per year. That's how much they love their rum. When Teddy Roosevelt came into office, favorite drink is rum by most accounts. And rum had was a big player in the good neighbor policy that he enacted, because he wanted to have a bigger and better trading route with the Caribbean, which is where our friend rum was coming out of. So a little bit of history for you, but this hot buttered rum, it's going to be good. It's going to be very tasty. So what we want here is 2 ounces of whatever rum you're using. That's going to go right in here, right into our glassware. Now make sure we got that water back on the kettle if it's kind of cooled down, because we do need this to be hot. We need this to be not boiling per se, but hot. Next up, we're going to want to use some sugar. Now you can do your honey syrup if you want to. I'm going to use myself a bit of brown sugar. Now you want about half an ounce or maybe 2 tablespoons of sugar. You can go less if you want to, honestly. It's your call. It depends on how sugary you like a drink. I'm going to go with about 4 bar spoons, which is roughly about a tablespoon and a half. So it's even a little less than what I said. So now we've got our rum, we've got our sugar, which is a good start. Next up, we're going with our spices. Now we're going with those holiday spices. We're going to be doing clove first. Now I'm using ground clove. If you got whole clove, you can toss a couple in, but ground clove, I say, would be the way to go. And I'm using a healthy pinch. Now, I say a healthy pinch. I'll show it to you here in the cocktail can. It's not a lot. A bar spoon is small, and that's just the corner of it, because it will go a long way in this cocktail. Also, if you got kids at home and you want to try this cocktail as a mocktail, take out the rum, throw in some heavy cream. You're going to make yourself a hot buttered cream, and it's great for kids. They love it. It also makes them feel like they're part of the gang, making drinks with mom and dad or auntie and uncle. Then next up after our clove is going to be our allspice. So you've got some clove, which is just a healthy pinch of clove, and we're going to do another healthy pinch of allspice. So cloves and allspice are the way to go here, folks. Here we are. We're going to just do a nice healthy pinch of allspice. I probably put a little too much, but you know what? It's still going to be delicious. There we go. And once we've got our spices in, we are ready to add not the biggest star, but a big part of the show is our hot water. So we've got our rum, we've got our sugar, we've got our spices, and we're not going to fill it all the way. We want to leave room at the top because we still have the star of the show hasn't showed up yet, being the butter. So make sure we got some room up top. And once you're there, go ahead and give that a stir. We want to get those spices mixed up. We want to get the sugar at the bottom of the glass melted down and infused. And this way we've got ourselves that sugary, spicy goodness going on. Oh, yes. And you want to stir it for a good little while, depending on how hot that water was you were using. I would say close to about 30 seconds is the way to go. And then finally, you're going to want yourself a nice tablespoon of unsalted butter. Now you might say, Matt, a tablespoon is a lot of butter. It is in most things, but I'll say this, in this cocktail, about that much butter is going to be where you want to get. I love butter. It just tastes so good. And then once you throw in about a tablespoon of butter, you can go a little less. I wouldn't go any more than that. And you can start to stir that again. Now, the hotter your water, the quicker your butter will melt. If you feel like you need to add a little bit more hot water, go for it. What you're doing is you're melting down the butter to create this kind of gorgeous, white, frothy top. I need to add just a touch more water. There we go. And it will take some work. I mean, depends if your butter was coming straight out of the fridge, if it's room temperature. I feel like if it has salt in it, it might also be resistant. I don't know. I don't use salt in this because honestly, I think that we got enough going on in here that we don't need the extra saltiness. But once we have that nice and frothy top from our melted butter, there's only one thing left to do. It is throw a tiny little bit of cinnamon. Things are falling, folks. It's okay. It's going to be all right.
You're doing ground? ground cinnamon.
I mean, I'm using a cinnamon stick, but if you have a little bit of ground cinnamon, that will work fine as well for your garnish. So if you have some ground cinnamon, I would just dust it slightly on top. But if you got yourself a cinnamon stick, you can go ahead and toss that puppy right into the glass. And that, folks, hey, there you go. I love that.
Yeah.
And that, folks, is the hot buttered rum, the American special, the pre-colonial days. This recipe honestly hasn't changed much. There have been little variations, but this is pretty much what they've been rocking for 200 years. So happy holidays to all my American friends, and cheers once again to the hot buttered rum.
Yeah.
That was good.
Remember,
I
Vicky
will-
said half the butter last time.
Yes.
Ah.
I'll let you know.
Oh man, that's like so good. It warms me straight to the bones. Rosie, I know you're a fan. Now, Janine, let me know what you think. Might be your first time drinking a hot buttered rum here. You're going to have a lot of different sensations. You're going to have that warmth going right through. Your tongue's going to be coated in butter. Drinking butter's weird. Don't feel weird about it. It's different. It's new. And then after that, the rum is going to be the sweetness. You're going to get those spices. It's going to come through your nose. It's going to be great. What do you think?
Yeah.
Oh,
Go
I
ahead.
very like it.
Good. I mean, I'm glad. Hopefully, if you got any young ones or any kind of holiday plans coming up, this can be a winner in your books. But again, I will say this: the next time we see each other, I will make sure that these 4 cocktails. I may even have an additional 5th one that I fit in the hour because I feel a little bit like a misstep here. But I'm a man of my word, and I make sure I show up with the stuff. So be ready for January. But let me just show you real quick what we've made here tonight. We've made the hot buttered rum, the fantastically simple yet engaging holiday rum sparkler, the flu be gone hot toddy, and the fireplace special, the liquid bourbon ball. Give yourselves a round of applause. You made it. 4 cocktails in the hour. Thank you so much again to Vicky and Single Life Today for having us. It's always a pleasure. It's always a ton of fun. And oh my God, what is that, Janine?
Yeah, what are you showing us?
Coulis Swan.
What is it?
It's like a Bailey's Irish cream, but about 10 steps up to see if he can make a drink with this.
Off the top of my head, I have 2 drinks that come to mind with Kool-Aid Swan. One would be I would do a with the hazelnut or the coffee that you might have in terms of your Kahlua or your Frangelico. I would do a White Russian and then substitute out the milk that's in a White Russian for that. So that's just your vodka, your coffee, and your Kool-Aid Swan. That would be a go-to. Or I would do a modified version of a holiday mojito, which I would do your white rum, your mint, a little bit of that, and maybe a muddled strawberry. That's where I would go with it.
Ooh.
Yeah, something similar to it. Almost would resemble a strawberry shortcake, I think, in my mind. That's what it makes me think of. But folks, again, thanks for having us. Vicky, back to you. Thanks for having us. I can't wait to see all your faces in January.
Yes.
We got some stuff coming up.
Yep. January 14th, Matt and Rosie will be back. And so look for that on the Single Life Today calendar. Also, that we do know that tips are welcome, and for Matt and Rosie for their generosity in doing this for us tonight. So Matt, I'll let you put your info in the do that in the chat.
I'm doing that right now. So PayPal, isolation.
Matt?
Cocktail. There we go. So if you take that, there's an L missing. Oh no. PayPal.me/isolation cocktails. There we go. If you take that last one and throw it into your browser, it will pop up with our faces saying thank you so much. If you'd be interested in tipping your bartenders tonight, you can. PayPal right now is the only way we can get funds through the US, kind of, in terms of tipping. We're working on we don't have a lot of the cool money apps you have.
Yeah.
We don't have the Cash Money app on our phones. We don't have
Venmo.
We don't have that here. It's crazy to me how many things you folks have that we don't. I'm jealous. But nothing is too small or too big. Also, if it's nothing, don't worry. We enjoy having drinks with you. You don't need to do that. So do it as you will. But thank you so much for having us. We'll see you next month. And kisses to y'all. Love y'all. And we'll see you soon.
Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's.
Yes, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, Happy Holidays, everyone.
If
Thank
people want to
you.
stay on, I'll stay on, but we'll say bye. Bye, Rosie.
Bye, Rosie.
Next year. We didn't get to see Rosie this time.
They're gone. So which, Janine, which one was your favorite drink?
Oh, I'm not a whiskey person.